Come on, Bam Bam. Come on, Bam Bam. How are you? How is my little girl? How is my little girl?
Boy, he is.
Boy.
But I don't have a vegetable garden anymore, as you could plainly see. And here we have poor old St. Nicholas taking a summer holiday.
You've done a lot with this garden.
And that's my hosta path.
Well, let's go and look at your hosta path. Let's walk down your hosta path.
It's really prettiest in the early spring.
For a little space. You mean you have, is this hosta on both sides?
Both sides. It's on,
This.
be careful you don't fall. And I want you to know I planted every single one of these single-handedly.
Oh, we should.
I should get a medal of some sort.
Well, I think you'd.
You're the first
make
person who ever walked down it safely.
Oh, really?
Everybody falls.
Oh, say, let's sit here. This is
Let's
nice.
have a little rest.
I see the pigeons. Pigeons have been here first. So, 你好吗？
我好，今天你好不好？
我好，谢谢你。That's about our extent. We can.
No, niets van mail.
This is a fun mail.
Have you eaten today?
Oh, sir,
Yeah.
谢谢.
Did you
So
enjoy
you
it?
got a mosquito. Oh,
They've got that disease now, you know.
White Nile.
And it's
So,
spreading like wild.
what do you remember? Well, you don't remember
I don't
much
remember.
when you were a kid. You were a baby, huh?
I don't remember anything, of course. I was only a month old
Yeah.
when we left there. But I remember just about everything when we went back in 1946, I'll tell you that.
That was something else.
We had a
huh?
lot of fun, didn't we?
Well, that's where you met David.
And you met Tom.
Yeah. So that was our romantic place, Nanjing. Now it's Nanjing. When we were there, it was Nanking.
Yeah, I still
Yeah.
call it 19.
Do you remember when we landed? We came over in this converted
Daddy met
troop
us.
ship,
Yeah.
the Marine Lynx.
Marine Lynx. And Daddy
And
met
the-
us, he came out on a scow, and he met
Yeah.
us. And we couldn't find him for a long time. He was looking for us in the cabin, and we were looking for him on deck. But we were all out of the cabin, and then I decided, well, I'm going back to the cabin to look for Daddy. And there he was. And I kissed him so hard, I nearly knocked his teeth out.
Maybe.
I was
Oh.
so happy to see him because it'd been a whole year.
Well, I've never been so shocked in all my life when we came to the docks in Shanghai.
Oh, I know.
Remember all the rickshaw men came around with their rickshaws. At first we had a big fight among the coolies. Who's going to have the privilege of carrying our bags for practically nothing?
That's right, yeah.
And the coolie master took out his
No, that
whip.
was in Phuket,
Well, this is also in Shanghai.
in Shanghai.
They had.
First night it
He
was
was whipping the coolies, and then remember we got in our rickshaws, and as we were going from the ship to the rickshaws, somebody stole Chereen's bag. He stole Chereen's bag, this guy, and ran down the street. And then
And
Dad,
six long-legged Ronnies went after him.
first Dad went first, and then Mom, and then you, and then me, and then Harmon came. All six of us. This guy turned around, and this poor
And he just
thief.
humbly returned.
No, he threw it in the air.
Oh, was that it?
He
Yeah.
threw it in the air, and Daddy caught it, and he let the man go because all of the crowd was gathered around watching these foreign devils running down the street. But remember when Chereen got in the rickshaw,
Oh, and she got spat at.
somebody spit in her face.
She had a real
One of the-
initiation
Yeah.
to China.
Well, first they stole her bag, then they spit in her face.
I know. It all happened to Chereen.
But these are the beggars.
Yeah.
You know, and the big thing, remember, Mamie, we came to Shanghai, and then we went along the Bund to the Peace Hotel.
Cafe.
It was, now it's called the Peace, but then it was the Cathay, you're right. And we saw the worst poverty in the world. It was such a cultural shock for us.
Oh, of course.
And we saw the worst poverty that could ever happen in the world, I think.
And in Nanking, too.
Yeah. But remember when we got out, we came into the Cathay Hotel, and it was the height of luxury.
Yeah.
There were so many servants.
We didn't know what to do.
Yeah, and they were, and the red carpets, and they took us to our room, and remember we had a big banquet for New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
a big banquet, and with about 12 courses that Dad had set up. But I'll never forget the contrast. The contrast between the poverty in the streets and the decadent luxury in the hotels where the foreigners were staying.
But that you see all over China in those days. You'd see.
Yeah.
Not so
Oh,
much
yeah.
anymore, I don't think. I haven't been there.
No, 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 you don't see that at all. That was the big change, the big changes. But then we took the train to Nanjing, right? Yeah. We took the train and then we lived
And then we
in,
went to Shikonglu or Sihua.
yeah, Shikanglu or Yichao, number 21.
Yeah.
And you know, a Japanese general lived there before we did. And he was one of the Japanese generals that was there during the rape of Nanking. I always thought the house was haunted.
Oh no.
It was for
It never
me.
worried me.
It- and remember, there were iron gates all over the place, and this wall around
Wall
it,
with broken glass
all along
and
the
then
top.
barbed wire, and we climbed in it one night without waking up Lao Zhu.
We sneaked in and out all the time. But Lao Ju became our friend after a while. He became our co-conspirator.
Those were the days. That's enough for now.
Yeah, right. Cut.
Did we
How
over?
about this now?
Stand by.
Huh?
No, it's fine.
And
You want to-
no. Ready? Get up and go.
You can stand up.
Stand up now.
Okay, do you want to go, should we go in and have
Yeah,
some
let's-
tea?
Let's do that. Let's go in.
Maybe, what's this character?
You know, I can't remember what it is, but it's nothing nasty.
Are you sure?
And
Well,
this,
this is-
this poor pagoda was supposed to be up there, but the storm came along and blew him over. It's heavy.
Well, this is the top of the pagoda. We can't go around with a broken pagoda.
He's supposed to be up there,
Yeah.
but the wind blew him. It was a strong storm we had that night. Just like the typhoon on the
Well,
way
what typhoon? I don't remember the
You
typhoon.
don't remember the typhoon? We
You mean
were-
on the
Marine Lynx.
on the Marine Lynx? So everybody was seasick.
Except us.
Yeah, we were the only ones in the dining room in Harmon, and then Harmon got sick.
Then Harmon got lost,
Yeah.
and we had to go and look for him. And nobody was supposed to be on top deck in the storm, in the typhoon.
Yeah.
But we went up to look for Harmon, and a great big wave came, and we hung on to a pillar. Do you remember
yeah,
that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you know where Harmon was all the time?
Where?
In the cabin next door.
And we were risking our
We were
lives
risking our lives. We were lucky.
what do you think about that, Bam Bam? Can you imagine risking our life for a brother who's in the next room?
And we had a guardian angel with us that day, I tell you.
Yeah.
That was really risky. Okay, come on, let's come in.
I just love this green tea.
Oh, I'm glad.
I
Have
drink it.
some more,
I drink
Audrey.
it every morning. You know,
Have some more.
it's supposed to be the healthiest tea
Green,
of
no,
all.
now they've said black tea's better.
No, no, no.
Oh.
Green tea is better.
No, not according to the health show I watch on TV.
Really? You watched
It's
the
the
wrong
green tea.
show.
Depends on if you're pregnant or not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Green tea's better, otherwise black.
Well,
Or
you know,
vice versa.
remember, Mamie, we were talking about China. Remember the first day we dared to go for a walk
Yeah.
in Nanking? It was, you know, I was in Shikanlu. We were looking for Ursa Ihao just last month when I was there with Top. And nobody could find our house because it's been turned into a bank. And now, you know, that area was just on the outskirts of Nanking.
That's
Now it's Sun Yat-sen Circle. It's right in the middle of town. It's unbelievable. Do you remember?
Nanking has grown that much.
You wouldn't recognize it.
No.
It was sort of a backwater town, even though it was Chiang Kai-shek's capital. It was not
Compared to
not
Shanghai.
compared to Shanghai. Yeah. But now Nanking is one of the nicest cities in China.
But do you
We did.
remember when we lived on Shikanglu?
Yeah,
Right across the street was an army camp.
yeah,
And I'll never forget those Chinese soldiers with their bayonets charging, and as they charged, they yelled, you know, like
yeah,
they do in
yeah,
movies,
yeah, yeah.
stabbing these.
These are the nationalists, China.
Yes.
This is during the Civil War, and the nationalist soldiers were training.
I know.
Yeah, and we'd look out the window and we'd hear their screams, and it was awful. Yeah.
We stood in
Yeah.
the bedroom window and watched them practice their bayoneting.
Yeah, it was
how they
really,
hold a bayonet.
it gives you the willies, you know.
It was
Oh,
all.
I remember the first day we went for a walk. You know, they didn't have paved roads. The roads were all sort of dirt roads then.
I don't remember that.
We walked along Shikanlu, and there were so many beggars. And there were people sitting there eating grass. And their mouths, their tongues were green from eating grass. But the first time we went, I'll never forget, because Dad said, when they come to you and ask if you want something, yao biao, say bu yao if you don't want it. And as soon as we started walking, of course, they hadn't seen any foreigners there. And we started walking down the street, and the rickshaw men came and said, yao biao, and we'd say, bu yao, bu yao. But then they would imitate us. They'd say, bu yao, bu
In
yao.
our accent.
In our accent. And then so they all came and said, yao biao, and we said, bu yao, and they echoed us all the way down the street. We got so frightened because they were always following us and saying, bu yao. And we didn't know how to we were afraid to go back home. We didn't know how to get home. And then Colonel Clifford, the Canadian military attaché, we saw in his green Jeep
Yeah.
driving around what is now Sun Yat-sen Circle, driving around, and we waved him down, and he took us home.
To our rescue, old Freddie,
Oh, Freddie Clifford, yeah.
little guy,
Yeah.
bitten by a centipede in the bathtub. He was on
kidding.
crutches for 3 weeks.
You're kidding.
The centipede came up the drain while he was taking his shower and bit him on his foot. And he was on crutches for 3 weeks.
Poor
Our
Freddie.
hero,
And they're laughing.
the military attaché.
He's still alive, you know. I think.
No, Alice, his wife.
His wife died, yeah.
Or vice versa,
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
yeah.
I'm not sure. But
Well-
he was our big hero for a half an hour.
For half an hour, yeah. But you know, I was so amazed when we went. Remember when we went to Fujimao? The
Don't
Fujimao.
forget that.
Fujimao now is the centerpiece of Nanjing, as they call it now. And but when we went to Fujimao, remember we were. Do you remember when we bought the rabbit's ears? We went. They had these flowers for sale, and everything was for sale, including 2 elephant ears, and we bought rabbit's ears, and we bought them and we put them on, and we came walking down. We were so proud of our. And Dad came running, jumped out of the car, and Dad came running down and said, "Take it off! Take it off! You can't wear those!" And we didn't know what we'd done wrong, and it turned out only prostitutes put on rabbit's ears. We were walking down Fujimao with rabbit's ears on.
Inviting people.
Dad said, "Don't you ever wear those again." Well, you know, it was some experience.
But every minute of it I enjoyed. Well, I'll never forget one thing. When we were still living in 21 Shikanglu, I was still early in the game, and I was still astounded by the difference between living in Canada and living in China.
Yeah, yeah,
and the populace. And I saw, and I thought, well, they're just like robots. You know, they're a bunch of people just doing things. They're not human. They didn't appear to be human to me. And then one day, from our bedroom window, I saw a mother spank her little child. And then I thought, oh, they're human after all. But to me, they
Yeah.
didn't seem to be human, because I never saw them laugh or do anything.
Well, there were all these
We were
refugees.
so miserable.
Well, and all these refugees had come down from the north because of the Civil War.
That's right.
You know, I was going to, when you were going, you were working at the American military attaché. What is it called?
Omega.
Omega. It was the MAG, Military Advisory Group.
Yeah.
And we went by bus to work. Remember, and I worked at the radio station as a disc jockey, and was going to Nanking University. And I would take this rickshaw to school every morning, and there would be people lying on the streets, dead
I know.
bodies. Every morning we walk, wherever we went, we'd see dead bodies lying on the street. And they covered them with canvas or cardboard,
Yeah.
because they couldn't afford to pay for the funeral. And then they would be picked up in the morning by these death crates, these trucks with the Japanese prisoners of war. We were driving them in green uniforms, I remember. Okay, cut.
You have a call. That looks
Hey,
good, because
do
now
that
you got
again.
the two of you together.
Do that again. I'm sorry, I missed something.
Okay, now, where were we? Talking about the good old days.
Well,
The good
we had
old
so
days
many
don't.
good old
The good
days.
old days don't sound very good, you know.
Well,
Because we were so young, we could
The thing
get
is,
away
to
with
us,
anything.
it was an experience. It was something wonderful.
Yeah,
But when you look back on it and think how the people that we're talking about had to suffer,
yeah,
but to us it was just a fantastic experience.
yeah.
And that's what I thought about it.
Well, you remember when we finally moved out of that Chinese house, and we went. They built 3 Canadian prefabricated houses
I
on the
remember.
hill. It was on the hill just overlooking Jinling College. Because I remember I taught at Jinling College later on, and I could look out at Jinling College and see the roofs, the rooftops. But you know, remember we went back there in 73.
Before, yeah.
73 or 4, and they had, it was then dormitories for Jinling, but now it's all been torn down. I'm pretty sure, because I tried to find it and we couldn't find it when
Really?
we were there last time.
Totally gone. Well, I was disappointed when we were there in '74.
Yeah, it all gone to pot. Yeah.
Those were memorable houses for us.
Oh yeah, but the problem is the 400 graves. That was a Chinese graveyard.
I know.
And they had to dig up over 400 graves. And I thought I'd moved from the haunted house into another haunted house. And you know, we'd walk around and they had to dig up these graves.
I know.
And there was a lot of controversy over that.
absolutely, yeah.
But we'd see hair and we'd see bones, and there were centipedes all over the place then.
No wonder poor Colonel got bitten.
Yeah, yeah.
And do you remember one time we were coming home in Top or David's Jeep, and Mom was sitting on the front porch
I remember.
with
Yeah.
a big butcher knife, chopping up a centipede.
And then there goes an airplane. Then the centipede, she'd chop up this big centipede, and then it started crawling in all
know it.
directions.
Like an earthworm.
Yeah, well, you
They
know,
must be related.
every morning we had to check our shoes to see if there were centipedes in them, because they're very dangerous. You know.
Well, look what happened to Colonel Clifford. But you
But
remember,
that's when we got rats, though.
but Audrey, do you remember one night we were in our bedroom in our new quarters? It's a small bedroom, with a big chest of drawers, and we had just gone to bed, and we heard a funny little noise like that, and we thought, well, what is it? So we finally got up the nerve to pull out chest of drawer, you know, the top one, the second one, and the third one. Out came a rat.
A big one.
A big one. And so what did we do? We got both, you got on your bed and I got on my bed, and we clung together, and then we jumped over back and forth, and then that rat came climbing up your pajama leg.
No, I had a nightgown on, and he climbed up my nightgown, and I took it off.
That's right.
And I threw it to the side of the room, and here's this rat climbing up.
And we hollered and hollered, nobody heard us. There was no 911 to call. And he finally went out into the hallway and said, well, I hope he goes to Mom and Dad's room and leaves us alone.
He was more frightened than we were.
Of course.
yeah.
But we still had our ski boots. Didn't we try
Oh,
to
we
throw it?
threw them. We threw ski boots.
boots at
Yeah, and I'm stark naked running around, chasing the rat with my ski boot. Oh boy. Well, that was nothing like. Then for a holiday we went up the river. We were going up to Kuling. There was a flood. Remember the Yangtze
Kuching.
River? Yeah, that's right. Well, you got that in Zhejiang.
Yeah.
And then we were to get on this ship, it was a steamer that went up the river. And remember the gangplank?
Yep.
I was going up the gangplank. I was carrying an iron. And you were carrying, what were you carrying?
Chinese checkerboard.
Yeah,
Don't you forget it. But then you see, Shireen was not feeling well.
yeah.
So she had Daddy to protect her. And Harmon had Mom. And you weren't feeling well, so you had Top. I was feeling fit, perfectly fine. And so David was left on the dock. He couldn't come on board.
Well, neither did,
protect me.
well, you see,
Toppy was on board.
yes, but that's only when I fainted. We were both going up the gangplank together. I dropped the iron and I fell down. And then Top came running up. He was down. Then Top came running up and he picked me up and he brought me on deck and we sat down by the chimney, by the steamer. He put me down there and he sat down to see if I was okay. And I'm sitting there and I look and I see Mamie lying down on the deck and the soldiers walking over you.
They
And-
walked right over me.
And I started screaming and saying, Top, there's Mamie, get Mamie. And he came down and he rescued you and pulled you
And
out.
you want to know something? I've never been so happy in my life to see Toppy. But I saved that Chinese checkerboard.
Yeah. And we played Chinese checkers all the time.
But-
I'm trying to remember how long we were on that boat. We were there a couple of days, three nights and 3 days.
3 nights, yes, and there was no place to sleep.
And I had something wrong with my stomach. All I could eat was shifan. All Dad let me eat was this boiled rice. And then we got there. Remember, the area was flooded, just flooded. The people floating on the river, animals floating on the river, houses, all you saw was the roof of the houses. And we were sailing through it with this overloaded boat.
But you
Yeah.
have forgotten some of the story about going up on the boat
Yeah?
after the Chinese soldiers came on board the nationalists. We didn't have a place to sleep
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
because all the people that had come on board were sleeping on the deck, and somebody had taken over our stateroom,
Yeah.
and it was
We had
so
first-class
hot.
cabins and somebody came in and took them. Yeah.
And it was so hot, we slept on the dining room tables.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
remember
right. Yeah, we refused to sleep in the room because when you opened the door, it was full of rats. We just
And then
scurried.
when people sleeping on the deck, you could hardly walk, so we could just go.
And so
down.
Mom said, and Mom is very mild-mannered, she opened the dining room door and said, "We'll sleep here." And we slept on the dining room tables. Yeah, we put the tablecloths over us.
Mm-hmm.
But remember Harmon?
with the crayons.
Yeah, yeah.
Daddy
Well-
thought,
Well, Daddy woke up in the middle of the night, or in the morning, and he saw Harmon had red all over him, and he thought it was blood. That
he thought the rats had eaten him.
he thought the rats had eaten Harmon, and then he looked down, the rats had gotten into Harmon's crimson paint. And they'd eaten the paint, and they had it on their feet, and they walked all over Harmon.
But he was safe
But-
and sound.
Remember when we arrived in Zhejiang, though, it was so flooded, we had to get in a ship. We got on little rowboats.
Rowboats.
We got on rowboats, and we rowed through the town on a rowboat, through the main streets of the Zhejiang, and then we got to the place at the foot of the mountain where they had the sedan chairs. You know, I was there a couple years ago, and
Oh, really?
they have a road now, a paved road that goes all the way up to the top of Lushan Mountain.
Ah.
But when we were there, you could only go with
Sedan
sedan chairs. So we took, remember the first day, you were sick or something. You went, I stayed with Harmon and Dad.
That's right. Shireen was sick.
Yeah.
And so I went up the mountain with Mom and Shireen
Right.
in
Right.
sedan chairs, and I'm glad it was dark. Otherwise, I'd have been petrified, because when we came to a crossing like this, and the sedan chair is sitting above, and you're looking down at the canyon,
Yeah.
you're petrified.
Well, we had to wait because there were only 3 sedan chairs. So Harmon, Dad, and I waited at the bottom, and we went up the next day. But in the meantime, we didn't have anything to eat. I remember going for like 2 days without any food. We had a boiled egg.
This was on our vacation.
Yes. And then we had to stop. We slept over on the way. We got halfway up the mountain. Didn't you sleep halfway
We
up?
got up to the top, but I have no memory of what happened when we got up there.
Well, we slept halfway up the mountain, and we took turns sleeping because the other one we had a palm leaf. Dad and I took turns sleeping to keep the mosquitoes away.
Oh,
The mosquitoes were so bad. Harmon slept all the time because he was a baby. Talking about
Speaking of
mosquitoes. So anyway, when we got to the top, then it was my duty to go and find where you were. You were staying somebody else, some other place. And we finally came in. You were eating. We hadn't eaten for 3 days. And we came in, and you were in the middle of a big meal. And Harmon, Daddy, and I just lurched onto the table and started eating, and I got sick. I got sick because I ate so much.
because you gormandized.
Yeah, right. And then that was when Chiang Kai-shek and Madame Chiang Kai-shek were there, you know, and all these white Russians were there. It was such a beautiful place.
Oh, such a beautiful place. That's why I've got this garden out front. But when you stop to think what we had to do, go
To get
through
there, to get there.
there, but it was well worth it.
Well, you know, Top and David both came up. Yeah,
And David wouldn't take a sedan chair.
David walked all the way.
He walked
yeah.
all the way up. And by the time he got to the top,
Leslie, hi, come and sit down. You know, David's Mimi's.
Husband.
This is before they were married, and long before you were born. You see, Daddy, your daddy, Top, and David came up together to visit us.
and David refused to take a sedan chair. So he walked up the mountain while Top was just, sort of luxuriating in the Chinese chair, enjoying himself. By the time David got to the top, he looked like he had been in a thunderstorm, a rainstorm. He was absolutely dripping wet. And we had a cabin, and I was standing in the window, and I saw David coming up, and I said, "Hello there, won't you come up and visit me sometime?" Like Mae West, what was her famous quote?
Yeah,
Come up and see me
come and see me
sometime."
sometime. Well,
And he could have killed me.
And how old were you when the boat
18,
came over?
18 and 19.
Oh no, I think it was 20 and 21.
And I was married in cameras when I was 21.
Oh,
So, yeah.
okay.
So it was 18. We were young kids.
And that
Yeah.
was when Top proposed to Audrey.
No, he proposed to me in Purple Mountain, in Nanjing.
So did David propose to me at Purple Mountain. And Murphy's Pagoda.
And Murphy's Pagoda, yeah. You know, we didn't see Murphy's Pagoda.
Is it
We have to. Oh no, it's still there. I saw it, but we didn't visit it last time we were there. When Top and I were there, it was still there. But we climbed Purple Mountain again.
Yeah.
I told you.
But Purple Mountain, Leslie, has
Leslie,
got memories that can't even talk.
So what kinds of things did you
And at the
really
bottom-
do on Purple Mountain?
At the bottom of Purple Mountain was Lotus Lake. And David and I used to go out on Lotus Lake and take Harmon with us and get to catch the turtles and pick up the lotus leaves. It was just wonderful.
well, we had these wonderful picnics on the boats,
Yeah.
and they had music. And Top and I went out on Lotus Lake again when we were there last time.
Oh, yeah?
What is it, a park now?
It's a park. It's a park and a big lake and a tea house and boats where you can. They had boats where they had huge boats with lots of flour. They have just small boats that you drive yourself.
So how
Which
did,
is-
how did people react to you when you came home after being in China all this time? Did they understand?
How did they react to us? It's more like how we reacted to the United States.
Well,
Another cultural shock, reverse cultural shock when you come back from China. At least I found that. Did you?
oh yeah, Oh yeah, definitely.
It was. I landed in San Francisco, and I went in. You know, we were living in a hotel, and I said, "Boy, can you bring me some water?" He looked at
Boy, on young Kai Shui,
yeah.
cold boiled water. Yeah,
And this guy looked at me as if, "Who the hell do you think you are?
yeah. Well, we
Can't you
met,
get the water from the tap?
but you
I said,
see,
is it safe to drink?
you're right. Oh, there's the
Let it
phone.
ring."
Well, it might be. Excuse me.
But maybe you didn't. You left China before I did. You got married in China.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you left. You went to the Philippines or something.
Well, no. We were evacuated the same time you were. But my ship left before yours did, and we met in Tokyo. Remember? Where you missed the ship. But we met in Tokyo. And
Yeah.
that's why we traded fur coats. You forgot
Yeah.
that?
We went on an airplane to Tokyo. Did you?
No, I went on an airplane up to Tsingtao and caught a ship
Yeah, that's what I.
in
Yeah.
Tsingtao.
Yeah.
And then
yeah,
it stopped
yeah.
in Tokyo. And your ship, or you were already there, and we saw you in Tokyo. But nothing terribly
Yeah.
exciting happened until I left, and then you were stuck without me to help you because you couldn't catch the ship.
I missed a ship,
You got
Leslie.
stranded.
Can you imagine missing a ship? The ship that's taking you out of Tokyo to Canada with Mom and Dad, not with my mother and Harmon and Shreen on the boat.
Well, what did they do?
Well, it's, you see, I went off the ship, we took off from Tokyo and we went to Yokohama. In Yokohama, we were going to stay for a few hours. So I got off the boat with a Japanese fellow and an American guy, and we went to the local pub, and we had a few drinks. And we were sitting there talking, and suddenly we hear the police, the military police siren. They come running in and they say, "Your boat is leaving. Get back to the boat." So they put us in their Jeep. We went back to the boat, and there was the Viking. That's the name of our boat. It was going out past the dock, it was out in the water, going past the harbor gates. And Mum and Shreen and Harmon were standing at the back and saying, "Audrey, Audrey, Audrey." And so we didn't know how to get to the boat with it. And I didn't have any money. But I was wearing Mamie's leopard coat. Mamie and I, we swapped coats, and I was wearing, it was in the winter, December. And so we hired a Japanese fishing boat to take us out, the three of us. And we got out, and the guy just past the harbor gates, he stopped. Mum persuaded him with tears to slow down, to wait for Audrey. So we came, and they dropped the Jacob's ladder down the side of the boat. You know, it's a 12-ton freighter. So, you know, very high deck. And this is a Jacob's ladder, a rope ladder. So we climbed up the ladder. And Mom was up there frightened to death that the ladder's going to break or something. Harmon's laughing his head off. He thought it was so funny, my little brother. And then, you know, the water that comes out from the side of the ship?
Hit you in the face?
The water from the side of the ship came right on us when we're going up the, and I was so worried about Mamie's coat.
Kill me, but save her coat.
Yeah. And it also went right into the Japanese fishing boat that we had hired. And we had to throw money down at him. He was so mad at us because we didn't have enough money to pay for the boat. But we finally got up on deck, and the captain was raving mad at us.
No wonder.
So was my mother. She said, "Audrey, I never know what you're going to get into. You caused me more trouble than all the other kids put together." So anyway, we got home. Then we ran into a typhoon, a real typhoon.
Worse than on
Got
the way
worse
over?
than on the way over, yeah. But that's another story.
Did everybody
Well-
get sick on the boat with the typhoon?
Yeah. But you were on another typhoon? Yeah.
On the Marine
On the
Links.
Marine Links going over, yeah.
But I didn't
Yeah.
know you hit a typhoon on the way back.
Oh boy.
Our crossing,
It was supposed to take us 2 weeks. It took us 3 to get to Vancouver.
really? I didn't know that, Audrey. But our crossing across the Pacific was as smooth as glass. And do you know, half the people were seasick. So
Yeah.
a lot of it's in your mind.
Yeah.
But I couldn't believe that so many people were sick. Come here, Bam Bam.
Bam Bam.
Maybe, do you remember the time we walked along the Great Wall? We walked so many times along the Great Wall.
Well, more around the wall of Nanking.
Oh, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
The city wall in Nanking. And we looked over, and down below in the dump grounds, we saw bodies of babies.
30 frozen to death.
And they had been thrown over the wall. Because it was then, infanticide was one of the ways of making sure you only had a boy. You know, and they would kill the girls. And they still, at that time, this was, you know,
1947.
1947, 48, babies were down there.
30.
You counted 30 once.
30 babies.
It was in the newspaper the next day.
Oh, was it? Because I didn't know there were 30.
30
Yeah.
babies?
Yeah.
All
I mean, it was a
girls or
terrible
just-
time. It was all girls.
just-
They're all
just,
girls. They're all girls.
Just
see-
any babies because they couldn't afford to
No,
feed them.
girls.
Just because I wanted boys in the family. But that had been going on for centuries in China.
Oh, yeah.
Newborn babies?
Killing baby girls.
It was infanticide. Yeah, it was. That has maybe said going on for centuries. That's when your great grandmother, our grandmother, started
Built an orphanage.
and a girls' school in Fancheng in the interior of China in 1890. They arrived in 1891, and they started rescuing these babies.
Little girls and it's still in existence.
Did they rescue the babies or did they ask the parents to bring the babies?
No. They never asked the
Couldn't ask
parents.
the parents.
But
Where did she go to
when-
find the babies?
In
She
the
didn't.
streets.
She didn't go to find them. She found them just. The first one was when they were walking along the wall of Shangfan, it's called now. They saw this baby wrapped. They saw a bundle. She talked. They wrote about it in letters home that I've read. That it was wrapped in red. They usually wrap the babies in red for some reason,
That's funeral.
and they threw them out.
Yeah.
And then